We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars.
So it's no secret that The Last of Us, among other Naughty Dog games, are some of my favorite games to exist. And we recently, well, maybe not so recently, but we got a trailer for The Last of Us 2 before the trailer that we got this E3, and it was pretty violent. So violent, in fact, that games journalists, I'm using quotes by the way, decided to complain about it. And they were whining about how the trailer was so violent, and should we be using violence to push video games? Mainly because there were women who had violence used against them. 2 dudes died. That was a thing that happened. But there was violence against women. Women were getting hurt, and the men were actually literally losing their lives. But for some reason, I guess the latter is worse. So people were freaking out about that and giving Naughty Dog a hard time. And Naughty Dog showed up to this E3 event with 2 middle fingers up, like, oh, you thought the last one was violent? Check this shit out. So the new trailer is going to be playing in the background, and you guys are going to see that it's pretty intense. There's a lot of stuff going on. The gameplay seems to be significantly more dynamic as far as how you react with the environment, and the transition between cutscene and not cutscene is still seamless like you're used to, but environmentally, it seems like they've integrated somewhat of kind of like cutscenes within the gameplay that are fully interactive, and also seemingly completely situational. Now, the scenario that they showed us could have been staged, and everything could have really been planned out like that. But it did seem like live gameplay, and it seems a little unlikely. Well, I mean, this is the gaming industry, so maybe not. But I'd like to think that the events that took place during the combat segments of the game that they showed are fully dynamic, to the point to where when Ellie was under the car and the person looked up under the car, if you weren't under there, then something totally different would have happened. I think that would be cool. And then as the person pulls you up from like the other side, they snatched Ellie out from the other side of the car, that part would have never happened if you would have never shot the girl when she looked up under it. That would be cool. Like if everything just kind of dynamically happened and they had these kind of set pieces that took place, and things could happen. Like she was getting thrown through displays at the store, but if she wasn't standing there, then she wouldn't have been thrown through that, or something like that. I'd like to see, because the enemies were really smart on the first Last of Us. They responded to situations. They could hear when your gun clicked and you ran out of ammo. There were so many things that could change kind of the tone and the pace of the battle. Even though it was slightly restricted, it seems like they're building on that in this game. Now I can't help but get excited about that. Another interesting point to note in this game is Ellie kind of seems like a shell. It seems like her humanity is kind of slowly slipping away from her, and her ability to kill people is just... she's a fucking monster, man. Just watching the way in which she kills the people in the game and how relentless she is in doing so is pretty shocking. There has been a severe lack of Joel in any trailer that we've seen so far, even though he's been mentioned. They did show him in the first one, but so far in the rest of these trailers, he's only been mentioned. I'm feeling at this point in the story, Ellie is well aware of the lie that Joel told her, and it's not really sitting well with her. It seems like it might be something that is plaguing her, something that she's dealing with, and her relationship with Joel doesn't seem to be nearly as strong as it was before. So I do believe that the ending of The Last of Us had a significant impact on her and her life going forward, even though it seems like in the new trailer they've kind of found like a new place where a bunch of people live and stuff like that. There might be some internal things going on with Ellie that this game is going to have to explore, and I'm not really sure how the story can go or what direction the story can go in. There seems to be a lot of cultish things going on, a lot of hangings and people getting killed in very brutal ways. Like these people seem to be pretty relentless, hence why she feels she needs to be. But one thing's for sure, this game is going to be violent. It's going to be crazy, and I'm sure there's going to be some really large emotional turns in it, because the first one was, they hit you pretty hard in the feels during that opening scene. But I'm sure there's a lot more to come. The story writers over at Naughty Dog are amazing, and they continuously pump out really good games, so I guess we'll have to see. One of the last points I wanted to bring up in this video was something that was displayed in the new trailer. And that's the fact that Ellie is gay. And if you have been playing the original Last of Us and you played the DLC, you would know this already. Essentially, the story is she had a friend when she was younger who got bit during an attack when she was hanging out with her. She was also bit too, and this is how she found out that she was immune, because while she was hanging out with this friend, who we later find out was kind of technically her girlfriend, they both got attacked, they both got bit, her friend turned and she didn't. And that's how she realized that she wasn't, affected by the disease, so to speak. And that was in the DLC. The one thing I wanted to mention, though, is the DLC was kind of a prequel to the game to a certain degree. And by that time, you had already played through the game. You had already realized how much of a badass Ellie could be and experience what type of character she is, spending time with Joel and doing all the things that she did. Her character was already established. So by the time you found out that she was gay, it was what it should have been, which is an afterthought, because the fact that she is gay does not define her character. She is a young person who got put in an extraordinary situation and became kind of this hardened killer, essentially because of it, at a very young age. And that is who defines her character. She has an interesting personality, a very strong sense of humor, kind of a no-nonsense approach to things, and she does what she has to do. And these are the defining traits that makes her who she is. The fact that she's gay is a total, complete afterthought. It's like, oh, well, okay, fine. And it doesn't matter. Now, a lot of people seem to get mad at gamers and everything like that now because of the way that they respond to characters who are literally shoehorned into a story for the sake of diversity, and their only defining character trait is the fact that they are gay or trans or whatever. And that's it. They have nothing interesting about them other than the fact that they're gay, and the only reason they exist is to have a gay person in the game. And that's not good character building. That's not what gets people interested in characters, unless you're a shallow person who believes that the only defining character about a person is their sexual affiliation, which, if you are one of those type of people, I'm sorry you're so pathetic, but maybe you should try to fix that. But yeah, so here it is. We have a character with all these narratives going around that gamers hate the inclusion of LGBT characters, and we just hate those people and we don't want them in our games. None of that is true. It's never been true. There are many characters that are that identify with all types of things throughout the history of superheroes, video games, and all kinds of things. And as long as they were good characters and had great defining traits to make us identify with them as just people, whatever their sexual affiliation was relevant. As long as, they were more than that, because everybody is more than just that. And like I said, if you aren't, wow, that sucks, but whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that because I know some people didn't play the DLC. Some people were talking about it and discussing it like, holy crap, I didn't know that this was going on. And like I said, it doesn't matter. Even if you didn't know and you know now, it doesn't change anything. She's still Ellie, a badass killer who went through a bunch of shit to get where she is, who's immune to the virus. That's still who she is. Doesn't change anything. So just wanted to kind of go over that because I did see some conversation kind of bubbling up about that situation. Ellie is Ellie, and that's who she will remain to be throughout the game, I'm sure. The fact that her sexual affiliation is whatever it is, it means nothing. It means nothing at all. She loves who she loves, and she's a fucking badass. That's all there is to it. So I'm excited for this game to come out. I can't wait. I'm super pumped for this game to come out. But I know some people have some reservations. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Did you like the trailer? Were you satisfied with what you've seen? Do you think the gameplay is going to be as dynamic as they showed it? Let me know down in the comment section below, and let's talk about it.